All right, everyone ready?
Yeah, let's go. Hey, David, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. My name is David H. I am a student at SR High School. This is my second year at Blue Stamp, my third session. And at SR High School, I'm a rising senior. So next year I'll be in senior year. In my project, I kind of had two. I had the IR robot and I had the laser car. So for the IR robot, which was kind of my first project, kind of like the base project, pretty much how it worked is like I have a IR sensor on the car that kind of senses how far any object is in front of it. So if it's less than like 1 centimeter, then it just causes the wheels to turn in opposite directions, which causes the car to turn around. So then it can go forward and get away from the object. So that's kind of how it worked. I had done a similar project with obstacle avoidance last year, but last year I used a ultrasonic sensor. So this year I used the IR sensor, which was much newer. So, after that, once I decided to stay for a second session, me and my instructor, Jesse, we came up with the idea that I would do like maybe an RC car. And also, we, kind of thought of doing a laser with a laser turret. And then we also decided we wanted to kind of make it like a game with a target. So, that's kind of what we decided to do. And that's kind of what I did. So, kind of like a basic explanation, pretty much is that it's just like a car, but it has a laser on it that has a turret, so two servos so that can turn, and then it uses like an ESP. But we'll go into depth now. I'll show a video now. So let me just share my screen. Share that, and then just get it right there. All right, full screen. So you can see as the video starts, I have an app right here. So what I did was I used something called MIT App Inventor to set up an app on the computer, which I then used an Android phone to scan a QR code, which then kind of just installed the app on on my on my phone so that I could control the robot. So the first thing I kind of pressed right here was the forward button. So this is kind of how it works. I have the controls for the robot on the left side, and I have the controls for the servos of the laser turret on the right side. So on the right side, I have a joystick. So you control that with your thumb. You can move it around in whatever direction you want, and controls the two servos that have the XY. But this side, I decided not to do a joystick. I decided to use buttons. So I have a two for right and left, and two for forward and back. So the first thing I'm going to do is press the forward button. So pretty simple. I press the forward button, and then it kind of takes a little bit, and it starts running on its own. But it kind of needs a little kick, but then it starts moving. Then after that, I press the off button to make it stop moving. But as you can see, before the robot can stop after I press the button, it hits the bed. So, I kind of need to fix the time that it takes to send the signal so that I can actually stop the robot before it hits things. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. But after this, once I stop the robot, you can see here, I'll pull up the app again. I press the back button. So now the robot just moves backwards. All four motors are told to move backwards. So yeah, and then I press the off before it hits my foot again. I kind of need to move it a little bit. As you can see, it's kind of hard to control with just the blocky designs and the slow connection. So you kind of have to make your moves in advance, which is really annoying. But here, I just pressed left, or no, I pressed the right first, and it needs to kick again. But that's not that big of a deal. But you see, it starts moving easily, turns in the circle, so that you don't just move in one line. You can really turn around and choose where you want to go. And then it also moves left with the button on my phone. And then I just turn it off again. So now, I'll kind of go into like the second part of the car. I have the servos with the laser. So now I think I put the car into kind of into position. I press the fire button. So the fire button, it sends a zero. No, actually it sends a one. which tells the ESP to shoot the laser. So pretty much what it does, it's not going to be so on target, but it shoots a laser, shoots it straight at the floor because it's just not aimed correctly. But yeah, it just shoots the laser once I press the fire button. And then after that, I control the turrets with the joystick, cause my turret to move upper, kind of to like the upper left region. You can see, it kind of just jerks over, so I kind of need to make it a little bit easier to control. Have kind of smaller movements so I can be more exact with the aiming. But yeah, so that's pretty much this. And then I kind of had to take a second video because it was really hard. It was really hard to get the aiming right, and I needed to turn off the light for my LDR to work. So I turned off the light, and here, this is what happens when you fire the laser and it hits the target. So you can't. It's kind of hard to see, but before this LED right here, it was off, and then once the laser hits the plate with the saran wrap on it, it turns the LED on, and then turns back off once the laser is not hitting the target anymore. Pretty much how this works is the LDR reads like the signals in the room, and then once the laser hits it, it turns the signals up more. So the LED, you have an if statement in the code that tells the LED to turn on. So then that's pretty much this. So then here, I'll take off the share. So then, yeah, there were, some challenges and some modifications I made. So I guess first, I'll go with the modifications. So, pretty much my base project was just what I did in the first session. So pretty much my modifications starting in the second session, I added the laser, I added the ESP32, I switched from autonomous to remote control, I added an app, I added an LED. I did an app that controls an LED. And then, I made the app for the car. I did the joysticks. I did the control to control the car. I used the LDR with the saran wrap. And then, also I had to switch the wheels out to use Mecanum wheels because my previous wheels just weren't working too well. But then when I used the Mecanum wheels, as you saw, it works pretty well. And then, yeah, I also added an off button because it was kind of annoying. The car just kept running, so I needed to be able to have it stop. And like you saw before, I had the fire button. The challenges. I had a pretty hard time with the wheels. It's kind of silly, but I the wheels, they were impossible to put on the first time. After putting them on the first time, it was really easy, but putting them on the first time, it was almost impossible. So yeah, that was really hard. Keeping track of my wires, I'm really messy, as most people are. So I didn't really have color coordinated wires or anything like that. Also, I had a ton of things because this is my second year at Bluestamp, so just organizing my things. I had to switch rooms. I had to, get boxes and stuff like that. I'd get Ziploc bags. Getting that was tough. Getting the circuits correctly, having the ground and the power for the Arduino and the ground and the power for the battery separate. Dealing with the joysticks because they weren't too exact. Switching to the buttons for controlling the car. I had some troubles with the LDR because with the light on in the room, it would just switch around the values. It wasn't consistent enough to really have a difference. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. But then, oh yeah, also the low response time with the controls. Yeah, and then lessons that I learned a ton of lessons. I got a chance to really fill out my robot coding skills with Arduino. The previous year and last summer as well, I'd worked with Arduino and with those types of things, and I'd really gotten some experience, but I really wasn't so comfortable coding by myself and making my own code. So being able to really learn how to do that, not just use like reference codes and stuff like that, was really, really big. So yeah, also I at my school I'm on the robotics team, and I wasn't really able to really add that much to the team because I wasn't so confident in my skills. So really being able to become much more comfortable and becoming much more confident using all these tools, it'll really help. Also being exposed to Bluestamp, just the Bluestamp family, because I might want to work here. I could use this for college and everything like that. That's been really big. So I have a lot of stuff here. It's my first time using the ESP32. It's my first time using anything besides for Arduino. It's my first time using an RC controlled thing. It's my first time using an app. It was my first time doing any of that stuff. So that was huge. It was my first time making like a game rather than just a robot. It's my first time using autonomous and not using autonomous stuff. It was my first time. Whatever. There were a lot of firsts. Also, being able to use the app for the first time was really big, considering I'm doing AP Computer Science next year, and I hadn't really done anything with an app. So, that's really going to help. But yeah, I also got to see, having more experience with engineering. I had done this program before. I do a lot of engineering in my life, but really being exposed to this for 2 months every day, it was really big, and I really saw how much I love engineering. This is truly what I want to do moving forward in my life, and it was really big to see how much I love it and see that was really my passion, and my profession. So that was really big. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, so it's really cool that you made your own project. Can you tell us a little bit more about like how that process worked and like how you kind of landed on this robot turret?
Yeah, so I mean, for the first session, it was kind of arbitrary. I was kind of running out of time. I just kind of looked at the website and picked whatever looked cool. I wanted to do something. At first, I wanted to kind of just do some coding, like on an app, because I was taking an AP Computer Science course. But I also decided I wanted to still work like hands on because that's really what I love.
Bugging. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, some nice technical difficulties. Okay, cool. You want to resume answering the question?
All right. Can you just remind me where I was at?
Yeah, of course. So you were talking about the selection of how you came from the IR sensor to in second session choosing your custom project.
All right. So, kind of how I decided to switch from the Arduino and to switch to ESP32 and to switch from autonomous and to switch to remote control was, I was kind of just looking for something new to do, something that I hadn't done before, something that was kind of cool. I kind of wanted to not just pick like a generic project. And my instructor, Jesse, who's right here, actually, he helped me come up with the idea. We were kind of brainstorming and we figured we came up with it, and we just thought it was a very cool idea, something that we could do. It's kind of a blend of different projects, and was a really good next step for moving forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. You did a great job.
All right.
I have a question.
Recorded and all right, ask your question.
There we go. You're good. You're good. So this project was really cool because I felt it included a lot of different, like you got a little bit of computer science, you got a little bit of mechanical engineering, you got a little bit of electrical engineering. What was your favorite aspect of the project and why?
I would definitely say doing the app, because like I said before, I'd never really done anything like that before. And so, being able to get the Android phone and have the app and do all the controlling stuff, having all those buttons, using the Bluetooth with the ESP. I'd never done any of those things before. So it was all really cool and really new to me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds awesome. Great job. I was super impressed.
Thank you.
All right.